Welcome here to Take Break Action and the Freedom Hustler Show. Today I have a very special invited. Here I have Mikkel Maes, which is the director and one of the founders of Sun Creature and the Tales of Alitrion games and series. So welcome, Mikkel.
Hello, thanks.
So first of all, I would like to ask you, how did this project was born? Like, how did you decided to do it? What was the reasons and all that, and the history behind it?
Well, it started pretty many years ago now. Me and Kenneth were on our second year of the animation workshop in Denmark, and we were a bit tired of doing 3D, so we went back to 2D animations and started to make these jams against each other, where we would pick a theme like Pokemon, and then we would write down 3 Pokemons each other, and then we would battle each other in animation. And this way we would kind of develop an animation style together, and making storytelling. It worked like this. I would draw, my trainer draw a Bulbasaur, and then I would give the scene to him, and he would animate his throw Pokemon, and then we would battle each other and react on the other one's animations. And we decided to start a company together after the education, but first we would like to make a movie together. And that's how we came up with the idea for The Reward, where we directed the film together and created it. And it was very much about enjoying the journey instead of focusing on the goal. Like, you know, people take a doctor's degree, working like studying for 12 years, becoming this, and in the end, it might not be the degree that matters, but the friends you met on the way. So it was very much our own story we put in the film, and us two as characters. And then we went out in the world, where I went to France to work for a company called Dantelou, and he went to Barcelona to work for a company called Headless. And then when we came back, we started the company with our friend Bo, who directed a film called Under the Fold during our studies. And the 3 of us, we started to make this Tales of Alitrion series come true. And it's been a long journey. Of course, the Kickstarter made it all possible, and since then we've just been through so many things. So now the studio is 7 people, and we're working hard to make this series come to life.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, did you just decided to go to Kickstarter immediately, or did you thought about like going to a studio, propose the projects, or something like that?
It was very what's called a hit and run kind of mentality. We had the film coming out, and we talked about months before, man, how are we going to survive as a young company who no one knows? We just made a short film like everybody else. How are we going to make a series? And we knew that it would take 10, 12 years if we were going to classical broadcasters and pitching and all these things. So when the movie started to get a lot of attention from Reddit, Vimeo, and YouTube, it had, in one day it got 164,000 views. And when that happens, we just immediately said, we're doing it. Now we are going live. And then people prepare their Kickstarter sometimes for 10 months, but we prepared the whole Kickstarter in 3 weeks, click launch, and put the amount we knew we would need for the series, which was a lot of money, and it was kind of brave we even went for such a high amount for the goal, being infamous. But people helped us the whole way through, cross-promoting us on Kickstarter and promoting us everywhere on articles and stuff. So pretty fast we got this reputation on the internet. And when the Kickstarter was through, broadcasters started to contact us, but they wanted to change it to a children's content and make it a feature film instead of a series, and you know, try to change it to something it wasn't. So we actually said no to all that and took it in our own hands. And right now I think that was a good choice, so we can do the series we would like to do.
So you decided to go and do it yourself with Kickstarter because it allows like more freedom to do what you want to do, right?
Yes, of course we would love to do a series for we have other projects in mind as well. We have created for children and for feature films and all that, but the reward is something we couldn't change into something. It is not like changing the title and removing the main characters and all these kind of things. It's we have this very clear idea of what we want to do with this project, and that's also why Kickstarter, crowdfunding, and the internet is where we're putting it out. Because here we can feel the connection from the audience and the fans, and we can interact with the audience, and that makes us want to do it even more, because it becomes a common project more than just our project, and it becomes an open thing for everyone. And that's just something we as teenagers or young people with idols and fantasy projects we loved. That's something that's so much what's it called? It has a lot of value to be able to be invited into a project like this. At least if I was in their shoes.
Awesome, because it's definitely a great project. Like, and just think about it. Like, I'm in El Salvador, like a third world country, like way far away from you. Yeah. And even in this type of countries, your project is being known. Like when I found the reward, that first Kickstarter campaign has already been over, so I was, I cannot fund this. but I love that video. I thought that the fears that the reward had pretty much like the history of any entrepreneur, which goes into trying to get this goal. He doesn't know what he's going to find. He just knows that he must go to this path. And at the end, like the real reward is that one becoming stronger, like one becoming the best version of themselves.
Exactly.
So, what, in your opinion, what are the ingredients that a campaign must have in order to be successful in Kickstarter?
Well, now we are on our second Kickstarter for the whole series. Hopefully we'll get a couple of episodes more. I think that we have been very lucky to have the hype around the project. If we had not gotten a lot of attention and made the first Kickstarter while the window was still open, I don't think it would have become a success. I think either you have to have made something that people know, or you have to be a famous person, so people will say, okay, I trust these guys. I think it's very difficult to, like, if we had made the reward, but without having the reward first, I don't think it would have gone through, because it's that kind of trust you need from people first. I went to Texas, actually, in America, and took high school when I was 16, 17 years old. And it's because of my friend Ross Bradfield that we're even doing it. He's working for us now over in State together with a guy called Jess D'Estasio in New York. And so we have this connection as well, and bridge with you guys over there. And that's also something that made it possible, because even though Kickstarter is in Denmark now, we wouldn't have been able to do it without having our friends over there and partners.
I see. Oh, yeah, definitely. At the end, it's money. Like, you're asking people to trust you with their money, so you have to be able to show up that you are not just gonna take it and do something bad out of it. And I think there is always the issue of that. I don't know. I have seen many series which started pretty good, and when they tried to push further, it was like the quality was being lost.
Yeah, true.
In this case, I don't think it is the same. Like, for example, we had the reward, which was way small, a small film.
Yeah.
So I think that started like many doubts. Oh, it's going to be a series the same quality and all that, and then you took out the first episode from the
Yeah.
first hero, and it's, oh, this is so much more amazing than I thought.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I said it was also definitely a journey the whole way through to make the first hero, and yeah, it's been a crazy process. And even though we went over the estimated deadline, I think the episode also became double the length, and the quality became so great. So I think we did very good with that.
Now, I have a question here because I've been in the animation industry. I'm friend with a lot of animators. Right now, we are even trying to start our own animation ourselves.
Yeah.
And I know the kind of work that it takes to do something like this.
Yeah.
So I've seen that the last episodes has like a little amount of frames per second, but at the same time, the quality of the animation is really amazing. So what I wanted to ask, like, how much time did it took to do the 22-minute animation, and how many animators did it took?
Well, we made all of it in-house. We made all of it in the studio, and we were 2 seconds. Can you hear the keyboard over there?
Huh?
Okay, it's just to be sure.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. All right, but we made all of it in-house in the studio, but we had people coming from France and actually also South America and different places of the world, just coming for a summer internship or helping out for a little while. I think at the biggest in the summer 2014, we were 14 people working in the studio, but usually we are 7 people working in the studio. We've just created an animation style where we take of course the 12 basic rules of animation, but then we cut in them and focus more on like the acting poses and then going from pose to pose. So we have a lot of smears and tricks which have made the animation much more what's it called? It looks great, but it's still more efficient for us to make it because it's faster, and we skip the cleanup process since we are cleaning up while we animate. We do the roughs, we clean them up, and then we redraw the cleanup and move around. So we have these techniques we use when we animate. And Kenneth Lalke is our animation lead, and is really good at giving these animation techniques to other people.
And what has been the hardest part of doing this type of animations?
I think the hardest part has been to find people like ourselves who doesn't think Disney animation, who can throw themselves out of a comfort zone and animate in a way where you're like, oh, is that gonna work? Oh, it worked. We actually had to take some very good animations and remove frames for it to fit on style. So when people come and say, it's cheaply animated, we have actually on purpose gone in and removed 2 animations on 2s and put it on 4s and 5s so it would fit into the style. But the most difficult for the project has definitely been people from the industry telling us what to do all over, like do this, do that, go with the series like that, go with it here, here, here. That has been the most difficult because every people think that they are right, but in the end, it's yourself who has to say, okay, we'll do this. Because if we are not agreeing in the group what to do in the studio, then it's not fun to work on. We have to all say we want a series and we want this and this and this, and if we change it too much, then then the communication and the idea of the project starts getting spread out. So in the beginning, that was a bit tough.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like at the same time, that happens a little bit in entrepreneurship as well, with building your own company. Like everybody's telling you uh, uh, in how to do things.
Yeah.
And it's not that they are wrong. Like they could be right for their own model of doing things, but at the end, one has another model. And if it is true that we have like to be a little bit receptive because they might have some good ideas or little small chunks of advice that we can take,
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot to like to take into consideration when you have to do the thing you need to do, especially in this type of projects when the most important thing is connecting with people, I think.
Exactly, and also trusting people and always thinking like, how can we use this guy in a way? And like people have so many good things. We wouldn't have been here without all the help we've gotten from people. So that's been super nice.
Let's see. And right now, I see that this Kickstarter project is working out pretty good. You are really close to your goal. To the first goal, I think you're going to get. I think you're going to be getting like 2 or 3 times more if this keeps this way. Obviously, there is nothing I wish more than than you can fund all the episodes.
Yeah, but I think we'll try to find out a way where we're going to be able to make, like, if the Kickstarter misses some episodes in the end, which it probably will, if we get like 2 or 3 episodes, that would be awesome. But then we have to figure out a way how we can get the other episodes through another way, like keeping the Kickstarter going on another page, or making the other episodes into comics as little stretch goals instead. We have to figure out a way how to be able to tell all these stories, and hopefully we're going to be able to make many of them because of the Kickstarter. That would be awesome.
Yeah, because personally, I do want to see all these stories. And I was looking at the comics of Thug Life, and I was, I don't know, I had like mixed feelings because it was like, so that's how it started. But at the end, it's like, so sad, she's going to die. Like, now I don't want her to die.
Yeah, exactly. We're putting out a new video update today where you're gonna, where we're presenting the daughter's character a bit more. Like Tira is the name. And as you have seen on the Kickstarter, we put out an update every day where we are introducing all the characters of the show so people can vote them in, which we think is really, really fun, because then we can like sit as like the commentators in the back. Oh man, Emerald is so much ahead. What Epic and Vito have found some horses and they are just up behind her, and these kind of things. But all the stories are very good, and we really hope to be able to tell them all. Of course, some of them are more happy and fun, and some are more tragic, as you have learned by now.
Yeah, because after watching her story, I was, now I get where she comes from, and I got sad because, she's going to die. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. We had a fun, sorry?
Yes.
We had a fun idea once where, like, this is long ago, but one of the ideas we had when we hadn't made Tira's story yet, we had Tira, Uruth, and Sid travel out to find the gods who can grant a wish, to resurrect Mira and get her back. But then she turned into a zombie, and zombies are super weak in the lands of Elethron. So it was just like they tried to eat them, but they could just like, and then we're like, no, we don't wanna twist these characters more up.
Okay.
Yeah, it cannot be worse than that,
No, please don't do that.
No, we would never ever do that. Her story is actually really good. It's a very cool story about her finding out and learning how to move on and not get stuck in the past. Of course, she has some things to settle with Wilhelm, which I don't want to spoil. But But she's actually a very cool character, Tira, who hides her feelings and sorrow through anger. And she is on all the wanted posters of a Lithran's walls. She becomes a much better thug than her mother.
Nice. So coming into the histories, because you are definitely I see you right now on your team like an amazing group for inventing these cool histories. How is your process on creating the histories? How do you get them so amazing?
Well, obviously we're all storytellers who love to tell stories and design, and that's also why you draw in the first place, to be able to communicate through images. So I think for me personally, I played Dungeons and Dragons since I was 12 and was the game master, and I even got a job as a dungeon master in a youth club, sitting and playing with these kids 3 times a week. And before animation, I had a comic on 500 pages, which I still, think back on sometimes, taking little elements. It's a really cool story. But I just, I love telling stories. I know Kenneth does too. And what we wanted to, how we progress with this is that usually back in the days when we did the reward, we would sit on a cafe and ping pong with each other. Like, oh yeah, what if he was a magician? Yeah, he could be a warrior. They should play guitar. Yeah, and if not a guitar, maybe this. And, we would ping pong and create these ideas. And when we had our minds almost exploding of cool ideas and stories, then we would write them all down on post-it notes, post them up on the walls, and have like 200 post-it notes of ideas and settings. And then we would scale them down to 2 post-it notes, and then scale them up again, and then down, and then up and down. So we would always like create a good idea, sort out the best, create a good idea, sort out the best. Then from that, we would make the storyline we wanted. Like, should it start in the past? Should it start in the future? Do we see the childhood? Who are the relations? What are the connections to the other characters? We would split them out, put it in. And then basically, when we had done that, I would go in and write the scripts. Ken would do the story beats. We would do story beats together, and then he would do the storyboards. And then Bo would sit and edit it into an animatic. Then we would have these things. So basically, all the 7 of us in studio, we're a really good team who works very well together, like sending assignments to each other. Like Simon sits and do the backgrounds, sends it on. Thibaut sits and do the designs and animations we need, sends it in. Charlotte sits and plans out the whole way of funding it and doing it, and Bo sits and do the editing and controlling the different things, while me and Kenneth direct and create. So yeah, I think it's very much a process, and of course a process is not always easy. We have to get into like these like yeah then we do this, and then like no, I don't think so, and then it's a lot of having fun creating a story, and then killing your darlings and creating it again, and killing your darlings, creating it again, getting a lot of people to look at it and see it and get feedback. But yeah, we're just happy that we get to make these fantasy stories that we used to like just sit and talk about around a table with dice, and now we actually get to tell them out in the world. If it makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Like I could see all the process in my head. I think we're going to be using a little bit of your a lot of your tips to creating ours. So here, after all this it's over, like all the tales are told, do you think that you're going to do another history? Are you going to continue? What's your vision for new projects in the future?
Sorry, what are our future plans? What?
Yeah, pretty much. Like after the Tales of Elysium, are you thinking about doing something else, or do you want to continue these tales for a longer time?
Yeah, I think Tales of Elethran will not stop right in the near future. I'm very up for creating this universe and keep expanding it and making it because it's a world, you know. It's not just a short movie anymore. It's a world that has a timeline and has a setup of characters, and we're actually creating a role-playing system in the world, so people can create their own stories in the world. We have all these different races which are alliancing or making war against each other, and you know, it's a really fascinating world which has a lot of possibilities. So of course we're gonna continue doing the reward, but there are also other projects. Obviously we have to do other things as well, when like we have been doing some commercials and working for feature films and companies we work together with, in order to also survive as well. Um, and then we have another project called Spirit Seeker, which is like the reward, but it's more focused towards broadcasters and children. We made that when actually we spoke with Amazon, and Cartoon Saloon, an Irish company we work with, and they would like to have the reward, but without the reward, violence and characters and title, so children couldn't find it after they'd seen the series. So that show is something where we have been pitching around, and you know, it would just be a dream case scenario. We both do the reward in that project, but let's see what the future brings. I look forward for the reward, the movie.
Me too, man. Me too.
Yeah.
So, for all the people who are starting out and who want to follow like this path of doing Kickstarter, doing their own animation, what would be your advice to them?
Okay, I think it depends. If are these guys doing animation as well?
Yes. Well, especially, I think that question goes most for us as well, because we are building we are starting an animation ourselves that is called Tempo Strip. We won a prize to get it started. So this month we are getting the money and we're going to start working towards it. So right now we're trying to get all the advice possible because it's our first.
Definitely send a mail so I can see the project and give feedback.
Awesome, thanks, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I think for new companies who does Kickstarter and series, I think it's very important that that you burn for it first of all yourself and trust in the project. If it's just a simple, if there's just a little bit like you're doing this for money or doing this for because other people tell you to, then it doesn't work. It has to be something that comes from you, and that people can see that you want to get out, because then it inspires people, and people would like you to succeed in it. It's just like watching a heavy metal band and you hate heavy metal. If the band really means it and goes up in it, it can become the best concert in the world. If it makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the same thing. If you really burn for your project, there's no chance that it won't succeed, because you have around 70 years of doing it if you use your whole life. It makes sense, right? Yes. Time is not a problem for us on the reward. We just really want to make it, and you have to climb the stairs. Even though we had a very good start with the Kickstarter, we still weren't big enough to be known, and we're still not actually a known company more than in the animation industry. If I go out on the street and ask, do you know the reward or Suncree Studio, they go like, no, is that a gift? You know, I think that success comes with time and dedication and talent and working with good people. If you have fun with it and you don't care about how long time it takes to get it, then you'll get it. But when you make a Kickstarter, it's much more also about getting the word out there. If you have something that people will love, and you know the people who will love it, it's just a matter of finding those people, because then they will become your warriors, your knights of, in our case, Knights of the Sun, walking out, riding out in the horizon with the banner high, you know, and they become your ambassadors and your best friends in need. That's how it works on Kickstarter. That's what we learned, at least. Yeah, it's not a thing you can do alone.
Definitely. Like first, I think that this lesson about taking all the time that it needs. I think that with any goal, it doesn't matter what it is. Like it could be health, it could be like having a great relationship with somebody, it could be having a business or an animation. Any goal that is worth having is worth dedicating our whole lives to it. Like
Yeah,
it's going to
exactly.
take. We need to take to think it in a timeline of 10 years or 20 years because we are going to be doing it all our
Yeah,
life.
exactly. And that's also what we think. And with the reward, like we won't like. Let's say that the reward gets one episode from this Kickstarter, then we'll still be like, oh man, yes, yeah, we get to make another episode. And then how much money do we have more? Okay, we have enough for a comic. Yeah, we can do a comic, and so it's that kind of thing. See the good things in what you get, and have high ambitions with it.
Yeah, definitely. Another thing that I wanted to ask you is that what are the most common mistakes that you see when somebody is starting up into this path?
I
Also
think
in animation and in Kickstarter.
yes. First of all, let's start with the Kickstarter.
Okay.
I thought I saw some fails on Kickstarter recently, which was really fun to watch. Like where you see the mistakes Kickstarter guys do. And first of all, respect your backers. They are your water and food, and your sun when you are walking the desert. No, they're the rain in the desert. Sorry, not the sun. But they're okay. But anyways, your backers should be treated well. You need to engage and talk with them and put out updates, letting you know that you exist and show who you are and be honest all the time. Be transparent. I saw a Kickstarter who like one of the guys said, one of the backers said, "Hey, I would like to put more money, but I need to know more about the project because you don't tell enough of it." And then the Kickstarter just said, "Who do you think you are, man? You have to trust us to get what you want." And I was like, "Whoa, man, that guy, is never gonna succeed because he expect people just put money in his projects. You shouldn't expect it. You should just hope for it." And because basically you're giving your baby away to other people. Broadcasters usually have it secret so they don't compete, and you have the project. What you're doing is opening up everything and saying, "Take it or leave it. It's open for you." Making them your broadcasters or bosses. And I think for animation, so Kickstarter mistakes is to set the goal too high that it's not realistic, and spend too much time on it so you actually lose money in the end. Put too many rewards which you cannot produce. We put a lot of rewards, but we know we can make them just pay a lot of money for it and time. But also I think that you need to be realistic as well. Like some Kickstarter is created without thinking about if it's actually is a success or not. And for animation, the common mistake I think people do there is to make too expensive animations with too little money, so they actually can't finish. I think thinking that you can make a Disney quality with 100 times less money is probably not the best way to start out animation, because most animation schools teach people to make animations on twos and to reference The Incredibles or Finding Nemo or Jungle Book, and that's probably not the best way for at least a young animator to think animation, unless you want to work in a bigger company.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So one of the guys who is doing, well, he's the animator of the series that I was talking you about. His name is Edmundo Landaverde.
Edmundo. Okay.
Edmundo, yes.
Nice.
he unluckily he doesn't know how to speak very well English, but he wanted. He's a great, a big fan of yours of the project as well.
You're my fan.
Yeah, so he wanted you to say hi to him, like to send a message.
And his name was something Mundo.
Edmundo.
Elmundo.
Yes.
Hello, Elmundo. Is that Elmundo?
Yes.
Hello, Elmundo. Thank you for sending your thoughts to us, and we hope that you were happy with the first hero and that you love fantasy as much as us. We hope we can bring you much more. High five. Touch the screen. Touch the screen.
So right now, pretty much, since we are thinking about Kickstarter and all the team is Latin American, they do not know how to speak very well the language of English and all that. Yeah. Because it takes, well, you know that it takes a lot of time to be an amazing animator and to polish their art. They also don't know too much about marketing. I was actually an illustrator like years ago. The university killed my passion because I had some horrible teachers. But
that sucks. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah. Anyways, one of my dreams when I was small, like a kid, was like to create an animation. And now that I went more into marketing and businesses and networking and all that, it's like, okay, this is my chance to do this. Like, I will not be the one doing the drawings and the animations, but I can help to create this. So I think that what you told about respecting your fans and the backers and all that is key. Like, for me, the most I don't know, the holiest thing for me is the attention of the people. Like when people sit and give me or give us like 5 minutes of their time, or even in this case it's going to be like 45 minutes of their time listening to an interview. Like, I respect that. I do not take that for granted. Like, when they give us that time and their attention, especially in internet now where like everything is distracting, and then they sit there to listen to us, that's amazing for me. Like, that's the most amazing thing. And
that is amazing.
Yes.
And that's also why both the marketing and the communication department around animation is just as important, and the producers, obviously, they're just as important as the directors and the creators, because we would never ever be able to like get out and get seen if we were just the artists sitting in our own world drawing the things. We need people to get it out in the world. Animation is such a small part of the industry because people just don't know about it. They think it's just for children. But now that we have the internet, teenagers and young adults, we call them kidults because we still have the love for animation. That's us. They're there, and on the internet now they can tell them, hey, we're there, and we would like to see stuff that is not just created for children as well only. Yeah. So that's nice. It's cool to get the animation seen more.
Definitely. And right now that is like my plan. Like, we haven't even started. Like I said, we are just going to get the money this month. And probably it's going to take us a year or so to start making this happen. But I'm gonna start like connecting with people now. Like, I'm starting to give value now to making interviews, to connect with a lot of people, to try to serve the community of people who can like our project, who can believe in our project. And I think that's well, as you say, like in the Kickstarter, that's the like the blood of the project itself.
Yeah, exactly.
So, is the team right now there?
We have Bo and Charlotte here, sitting over here.
Hi.
Hey there. Thanks for your time. Amazing project.
Yeah. Yeah. Bo says hi. I don't think you can hear what he says though, because I have my speakers on. He says hi, and yeah.
I could barely hear him.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. Cool. But
Awesome.
yeah. But do you have more questions?
No. Just any final thought that you want to add?
Well, I really hope that this new Kickstarter gets a lot of attention, and that people understand that 100% funded is actually just the first episode. That's my biggest concern right now. I really hope that people will know that 1,000% funded is the whole season. Well, let's see about that. And then I just, it's super great that you're doing this program. I also saw that you interviewed Fred from Frederator. That's amazing. He's the guy, man. He's super cool.
Yeah, I will advise, if you want, like, just contact him. Like, his email is there in the website. It's pretty much fred@frederator.com.
Yeah.
And I think and he's a really cool guy. Like, if you ask for help or advice or anything, he's really open to give it.
Sweet. That's awesome. Yeah, but it's cool. I think that I wish you the best of luck with your animation and Kickstarter. And it was nice to talk with you. I hope that we will see much more cool animation in the future. I think we're in a good era, a golden era of animation coming back. 2D.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely. I'm like, you have here like a huge fan of the reward. I'm pretty much like dumping all over my social networks. Hey, back this project, this project is amazing.
That's nice. You have my heart. Okay, it's not proper to open it right now, but I would smash it in there.
And even as soon as I have ready the post, like, in the post is going to be, okay, here are the episodes, here's the project, go and back this project. Like,
Yes.
I really believe in it, and I wanted to get back like all the episodes into this Kickstarter.
Yeah, me too. It's just hard when you only have butterflies coming up of your pocket when you empty them, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But
So, thanks a lot for your time, man. And I really hope that all this project gets funded.
yes, we hope so too. We cross our fingers. We have 3 weeks left. It's actually 1 week has passed, so we have plenty of time left. It's gonna be pretty cool. It seems that we have a lot of people in our back, so that's really nice. We're so thankful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, man. See ya.
See you. Nice talking to you.